Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is a Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, May 3rd, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable over the past week at seroundtable.com. First up, it seems like there's either some type of bug or some type of weird hacking going on, and scary hacking going on, with rich snippets. Specifically schema data. There was two different reports at Google Webmaster help forums, basically claiming that somebody's injecting or Google's having some type of hack on how Google picks up this schema data for rich snippets and for other schema related stuff. The problem with that, in my opinion, is that because schema is one of the most trusted sources of data that a Webmaster can actually hand over to Google outside of what's on the page, obviously. This is actually markup that webmasters are putting on their web pages in order to inform Google of what's going on. And it seems like somebody's either hacking it or there's a problem with how Google's understanding it. Google has not yet responded to those complaints. And as soon as they do, we'll let you know. Bing Webmaster Tools launched this week two new features. One is a re-evaluation tool for malware, and two is more detailed geo-targeting. Specifically with the re-evaluation tool, one of the biggest complaints with Bing is that when you do have a malware warning on your website, you get that big label on Bing, and people obviously won't click on your site. And when you submit a malware report to Bing, you get nothing back. You never know what's going on. It takes a long time. So now Bing will at least tell you what the status of that report is, of your malware re-evaluation is. They'll do several deep scans and they'll keep you updated in the progress. The problem is, if they do find malware on your site again, after you do a re-evaluation, Bing says it may take some time for you to be even allowed to do another re-evaluation again. So be careful when you submit that. Two is Bing has expanded their geo-targeting, so now you can do it on the page level, you could do it on the subdomain level, you could do it on the subdirectory level, folder level, as well as the main domain level. So it gives you a lot more flexibility on how you actually manage your geo-targeting within Bing Webmaster Tools. 3, Ben Pfeiffer did a blog post on our site. He comes in every now and then, tons of comments. It's about Penguin. Basically, he says you may never recover from a Google Penguin update. And we did a poll a couple weeks ago on Penguin's birthday, which was, I think, last week, the 1-year anniversary of the Google Penguin update. And we did a poll, and 9% only 9% said they actually fully recovered from the Penguin update. I'll post those stats a little bit later once I get more details. But he goes through all the things about people spending tons and tons of money, completely revamping their websites, yada yada, and no changes have been made. Obviously, you have to understand that the changes won't be felt until Google updates their algorithm, and they haven't done that in about 6 months. So over 6 months actually. We are expecting a big update. The question is when, and when we do, will we see any updates or any recoveries? Ben doesn't seem to think so. Google is now treating 20 different country code level TLDs, top level domain names, as generic. Specifically, like if you use .co.il, .co.uk, .com.au, those are specific for specific countries. So Google will say, all right, if you're using those, the likelihood is that the content specifically should rank better in the Google UK version than in the .com version. That being said, Google has actually finally posted a list of the country level ccTLDs that they treat as generic, despite them actually being country level. And there's a whole list of them. There are currently about 20, including .bz, .co, .io, .sr, .sc, .ws. These are domain names that people have been acquiring for short URLs typically, or for fancy encoding. The one exclusion that people haven't seen is the bit.ly one, which is .ly, which is kind of confusing. I don't know why they haven't done that or put that on the list yet. That being said, it's good to have this list. Google says they may change it over time, and they actually link to the actual document to show people what it looks like. And I think it's also integrated with Webmaster Tools. So now if you have one of those domain names, you can set a geo-target on those domain names, on those TLDs. Google is now showing the see more result from yada yada a little bit less often now. Specifically, Google shows it for navigational queries, and they still do that, but they no longer show it for forum types of queries or threaded types of queries. It used to be like when you do a detailed search and forum threads came up, and there were multiple forum threads, Google would show X number of them, and then say more results from this site. Google's no longer showing that. Jessica from the forum said, it's true, we are no longer showing that. We are showing it only for certain types of queries, but not for those types of queries. Google says, and they repeat it, this is something that John Mueller over at Google said, stop repeating the same keyword over and over again. We got it. We know it. Don't repeat it over and over again. Keyword density, don't worry about it. Just post your keyword as it makes sense, the content as it makes sense on your website, and we'll figure it out. If you repeat it over and over again, it might end up hurting you. And John went ahead and did some little rant or explained the difficulties that Google has when you repeat it over and over again. It may even confuse Google. So we got a lot of comments on that post. Google also said, this is another obvious thing, if you have a mobile website, don't redirect. If you're on like a specific page on your website, and somebody emails you a specific page, and you go to one on your iPhone or Android phone, and you click on it, don't redirect that user to the home page. Redirect them to a mobile version of that specific page. I see this all the time. I go to something on my mobile phone, it redirects me to their mobile homepage. I want to see the specific page, not that page. And obviously, for a user perspective, that's very, very poor. But for Google, it's also very poor. If you're not handling it right, it could confuse Google and it could cause issues. Google Now, the product Google Now, is now available on the iPhone and iPad. So if you're using Google Search app and you updated it, you could opt in to actually include Google Now. It's basically a way for Google to actually say, you open up the Google app and it'll actually show you things that are coming up now. Like if it knows you have flights coming up, it will show you the flight information, what gate you have to go to. It will know the weather, it will know some stocks, it will obviously know if you have appointments and stuff like that, directions to get home, how much traffic there is and stuff like that. And it works pretty well. I've been testing it. It's getting better over time. People have been complaining that it's draining battery power. Google told me that specifically it doesn't drain that much battery power. It's not using the GPS functionality. It's using cell phone towers as well as Wi-Fi networks. So it doesn't take as much GPS to do. And it's pretty cool. I hope it improves over time, even better, and we'll see. Google Plus interactive posts. So you know how Twitter has like Twitter cards, Facebook has ways of marking up data so that Facebook posts look better. So when somebody shares your information, either on Twitter or Facebook, the data that actually shows up on that post in Facebook and Twitter is actually enriched. And those are Twitter cards or Facebook metadata. Google also has something they released several months ago called Google Plus Interactive Posts, which let you actually make those things that people are sharing from your website more rich on the actual Google Plus page. There are sites that have been using it. I've never used it. I want to add it. I'm hopefully add it soon. But you could control things like pre-fill the text that people put in their post. You could add call to action buttons, which are great. You can control this title and the URL target, and you could also control the snippet used in the Google Plus share. Definitely take a look at that if you haven't. Google AdSense is changing how their reports work. Now, in the past, Google actually removed any invalid revenue from invalid clicks. Now, Google is actually going to remove the clicks and impressions from invalid activity on your website, on your Google AdSense thing. So it's a better thing. It's good that it's happening. It might affect your reports a little bit. Your CPC and your RPMs will actually probably go up a little bit, but the revenues and everything should not change at all. Google AdWords is shutting down their spreadsheet edit feature, where you're able to like download all the data, edit it in the spreadsheet, and upload it again. Google's getting rid of that on May 30th. Google said they're getting rid of that because they have two other features that let you bulk edit your keywords. And if you want more information on how to use those features, go ahead. Based on what I'm seeing, it doesn't seem like anybody's really complaining about that. Finally, YouTube. Nobody can dislike my videos because there's apparently a YouTube bug where if you go to a YouTube video, I'm not sure if it's still happening, but if you go to a YouTube video, it would show only likes, and then 15 seconds later it will just jump, and then it will show you the dislikes. So it seems there's some type of bug. Google confirmed there's a bug that dislikes aren't really showing up immediately on videos, but they show up eventually later. Anyway, that's the Search Buzz video recap. Today again is May 3rd. Everyone have a great weekend, and we see you guys next week. Everyone, for more information, obviously check out scroundtable.com. And we'll see you next week. Bye.